Birthdays, anniversaries, weddings, whatever the occasion, it just got a little more personal with meaningful photo gifts from Shutterfly. Add a silly photo to a gold-rimmed mug for your bestie. Put your sweet puppy on a cozy fleece blanket for your teen. Gift your husband a desktop plaque featuring all the kids. Enjoy 40% off orders over $29 with code POD40 at Shutterfly.com and make something that means something.
Oh, we're recording here. Hi, guys. It is Wednesday, and there's no new episode out. I feel very loud in my ears, so hopefully it's not too loud for you guys. And I'm not going to lie. I definitely was like, what could I say that would be an acceptable excuse as to why the episode didn't come out yesterday? And then I realized that's shitty, and I'm just going to be honest. And I don't know, does that make me a shitty person for my first instinct is to make something up and kind of tell a fib? Maybe. Realistically, yesterday I was working on making this website for my friend. And I have this thing, I don't know if anybody else has kind of a similar experience, but when I'm doing something that I don't know how to classify it, but it's like if I'm making a pitch deck, which is essentially kind of like a PowerPoint presentation, or if I'm editing video, or if I'm making a website, definitely making a website. Like the world could be burning to the ground around me, and I'd be like, just one more minute. I just need to fix this one last thing. Like I can't tear myself away, even though I know, like yesterday I was working on it. I had a call. I'm not ready to share about it yet, but there's potentially some interesting new career opportunity things on the horizon. And so I had a call about that yesterday at noon. So still plenty of time to like put the finishing touches on the episode and record it. But I got off that call and it relates to the website, and I was like so pumped up. I was like, okay, I'm just going to work on it for 1 hour. That's it. And then it was 5:15. And then this is like a therapy session, guys, so I apologize. So then it's 5:15, and I was like very happy with the work that I had done on the website, and I felt accomplished about that. But then I was pissed at myself that I hadn't done the podcast, and then I got crabby. Then I was like in a really bad mood. My mood just went from like a 10 to a -5 instantly. It was like, and that is something that I struggle with. I find that wasted time, and I waste a lot of time. So it feels weird to say that. But when I have like things that I definitely want to get done or want to do, and I feel like I didn't manage my time well, and then the day's over and I can't get it all done, it really upsets me, and I get very frustrated at myself. And so that's what happened yesterday. And I was like, all right, I'm just going to sit down and relax for 30 minutes and try to get out of this mood. And then whatever, like I'll just go finish up the research and do the podcast. And then that didn't happen. I've had this cough, and maybe it's just to me, my voice sounds scratchy, but people on Patreon definitely know, because I record like completely like unfiltered, and I just cough into the microphone. I record while I'm doing like uphill walks, and I'm just heavily breathing into the microphone for them, or into my phone, I guess. And so what was I saying? Oh, this cough, I quit smoking my nicotine vape pen thing. Months ago at this point. And I feel like in the past maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks, the cough has gotten so bad. And sometimes it's like a tickle in my throat. I don't know if we have any doctors out there. You could help me figure out what's going on. But I get this tickle in my throat, and the only way to I can't reach my hand down there and scratch it. So the only way to take care of it is to just cough. And you know that feeling when you were sitting in class as a kid or in high school, whenever, college, doesn't matter. And you have to cough or sneeze and it's silent and everybody's taking a test, or you have a coughing fit and you're trying so hard to hold it in. That's how it feels. It feels like this tickle in my throat that I cannot get to. And so I end up coughing like one of my lungs is going to fucking come up through my mouth, and it's hideous. And you don't want to, I don't want to do that in public, but I do anyways, because there's nothing else I can do. I just do it. Anyways, so I was doing that so much last night. I was like, well, I'm never going to be able to record if I'm coughing so much. The coughing, it feels like there's something in my chest that I'm trying to cough up. Thank you for listening to my disgusting, all my disgusting issues and quirks. Sorry, but it does feel like that. It feels like I'm trying to cough something up and I can't get it up, and I cough so much that it literally hurts my stomach. So I took a bunch of Theraflu. I took 2 Theraflus because I was like, let's get this cough under control. I took 2 Theraflus on an empty stomach at 5:15, and that was it. I was pretty sick for most of the night. And that continued, until this morning. And I laid down and I slept this morning. Finally, I didn't really sleep last night. And now I feel okay. But that also could be due to the fact that I took some Tussin DM, expectorant, which means I think it's supposed to help you cough crap up. It hasn't, but it's definitely helped my cough. I'm not coughing at all right now. So I definitely feel a bit better. So I'm going to try and finish the episode right now, and we'll see if I'll get it recorded tonight or not. That was a 6.5 minute excuse, basically. No, not excuse, explanation as to why the episode didn't come out yesterday. And I'm bummed about it because I feel like I did good. I responded to Instagram messages. I don't know, Tuesday and Wednesday. Today's Wednesday. So Monday and Tuesday, I guess, I responded to messages. I have a few messages that I got permission to play for you guys that I'm going to play on the beginning of whenever the true crime episode comes out. What else did I want to tell you guys about? Oh my God. So Monday was 11/11, November 11th. And I don't actually believe that means anything. There's a part of me that wants to believe it. There's part of me that's oh, maybe something, it does mean something and it means something magical. I don't really, I think in my heart of hearts, I do not believe that. And, oh, hold on. Uno momento. Oh no. Where was I going? So I recorded the bonus episode Monday. Monday, I think, was a good day. Oh, and so I went for the night walk. That was also how I knew that I was not doing well last night, because we did not take a night walk and I did not take a morning walk today. And I have not missed a night walk or a morning walk in, I don't know, months, really months. And I couldn't do it last night. I was also a little bit I don't know, I just had a weird feeling. So Monday night we did go for a night walk. We went a little bit later than usual. I can't remember why. And so we're walking, and usually at night because it's so dark. And again, so Micah left a comment on Patreon. Here we go. Jumping all around, guys. Sorry. Micah left a comment on Patreon saying how can I walk at night after I was attacked? And for new listeners, last February, Mark and I were still broken up, and I was having a very difficult time. It was a difficult morning, I suppose. It was 5 o'clock in the morning, and I went for a walk, and I didn't bring the dogs. I didn't bring my phone. I just was I had been crying, and I just was I have to get out of this house and just get some fresh air. I'm just going to walk around the block and clear my head and try to get in a better headspace. And I got attacked. I got away, obviously, but not without having my face pretty beaten up. And obviously I was very terrified. And it was dark at the time. It was February and it was like 5 a.m. So it was still dark out. So Micah was like, why would you go out walking in the dark? And I responded and said, like, that's a valid question for sure. And if I had been attacked when I had the dogs with me, I would never go out walking, probably even in the day, honestly. But I feel like with both of the dogs, and I have pepper spray on my keychain that I have hooked onto my pants whenever I'm walking morning or night. And then I also have like a little switchblade knife that I tuck into my pants. And I have a headlamp, not that that's going to do anything except for allow me to see whatever's going to attack me, or hopefully not attack me. So I do feel a lot safer. Like, I think even though Henry is older and sick-ish, he's pretty scary when he is barking at you. And Indiana has teeth apparently just like razors. Her and Henry got into it today, and for 10 seconds, like they fight intensely, where it's scary, but then they kind of both just drop it and walk away, and then they're fine. I mean, then they're totally fine with each other. But Henry, I noticed like there's little blood droplets everywhere. So they had fought for, literally 8 seconds, and she nipped his ear. She's got these little like razor teeth. She's such a little asshole sometimes. But Henry's fine. Just a little nick on his ear, which bleeds a lot. So I do feel pretty safe with them when it comes to people. Now, when it comes to animals, I don't know. And it's funny that I'm saying that because I was not planning to talk about any of this really, but here we go. Mark always used to say to me, like, Henry's your best protection. He's better than a gun, a knife, pepper spray, anything. Like, he's going to deter people from coming into your house if they wanted to, and he's going to deter people from bothering you when you're out. Can you hear that? That's Henry. It's really the only thing that I notice about his heart tumor is when he is going to lay down or going to stand up from laying down, his breathing is it's like a groan. And I think he just stood up, and I think that's because the tumor presses, it interferes with his breathing a little bit. But Mark is always like, Henry's the best deterrent. Like, if somebody tries to come up to you and you're scared, he'll sense that, and he is going to go crazy. Because just like, he attacked Mark, not attacked, but he bit Mark when I was sleeping and Mark tried to move me and Henry was there. I've told that story a bunch of times. He's very protective. So I do feel pretty safe. But I am still sometimes scared of animals. Now look, coyotes, I'm actually not. Coyotes are generally way more scared of us than we need to be of them. And generally same with bobcats. Like, I've seen bobcats, I've seen coyotes, and they generally just like really like book it in the opposite direction. Now, mountain lions, I would be terrified. Especially if it was a hungry mountain lion. And javelinas, I think they're adorable, and I've never seen them be mean, but apparently they are very, very mean and can like get you with their like teeth or tusks. Javelinas are like little pigs, kind of like boars. So we were walking Monday night. It was a little bit late, and I can't remember. I think I didn't want to go. I can't remember. Anyways, so I talked to Mark on the walks. Wow, full circle here. So when I walk at night, I generally talk to Mark. It makes me feel safer for some reason. And so I was talking to him, and we're walking. I have my headlamp on, and something ran like probably 25 feet ahead of us. I saw something run across the road. Now, I couldn't see what it was. I only knew there was something there because my headlamp caught its eyes, and it startled me. And I was like, oh my God, something just ran across the road. And I don't know what I thought it was. I couldn't tell. It happened fast. So I was like, okay, kept walking. And then I saw its eyes again, but they were coming towards us. And I could not make out anything else, just these two little green eyes. I could not tell, it was about Indiana's height. So it could have been a coyote, a javelina. It could have been a bobcat. It could have been a small mountain lion. And it's like moving towards us pretty quickly. And like, Mark was like, well, make yourself big, make some noise. And so I kind of started to do that, and it stopped, but then it kept coming towards us. And that was it. I was terrified. I don't know why, but something like, I was so scared, and I was like, that's it. We're going back to the car. And I turned around and we just booked it. Ran back to the car. I got the dogs in the car. I was like, okay, well, I want to know what it was though. So I'm going to go see. So I leave the dogs in the car and I walk back into the dirt roads, and I turn back to where we were, and I'm like, oh, it's gone, I guess. And then I see eyes in these bushes, and it was like this thing was stalking me. Like I could see these eyes looking right at me because my headlamp is catching the eyes, and it's looking right at me. And if I like moved over to the left a little bit, it kind of like its head turned to, it was watching me. And so then I got freaked out again. I was like, no, not doing this. And so I ran back to the car, and Mark was like, well, I want to know what it was. I was like, fine. So I drove my car into the dirt roads, and as I'm about to turn on the like little street that we were on, I see this very cute, adorable javelina run out of the bushes where the eyes were and just like scurrying along the road. He was all by himself too, which makes me sad because I think they usually travel in like families. So that's the uneventful ending to my story, that there was no mountain lion or coyote. I mean, at least I don't think so. I think it was just a javelina. I had no idea they moved so fast because those eyes were like really, they were coming quick at us. But what I determined is I think that there's some javelinas that live kind of right where we enter the dirt roads. It's like a cross, you can go straight, you can go left, you can go right. And I think they must live in someone's yard around there because we've seen them a couple times there lately. And so then I felt stupid, and I was like, well, should we park the car again, like go on the walk? And then I was like, I don't know. And I had gotten out of the car at that point to like look in the bushes and see if there was anything else. And I turned around, and there was the most gigantic owl on the phone line right above my car. Like, so I took a bunch of pictures. I guess I could post a picture, but it doesn't do it justice. Like, it looked like I felt like I could reach up and touch this owl, but on my phone, it looks like the owl's like, half a mile away from me. So, and I just decided, you know what? No, I was freaked out. I got freaked out by that javelina or whatever else was there. And then I was like, this is exciting. This is enough excitement. Wild animals, and, and it's 11/11. So the whole point of that was that I don't really believe in 11/11 or any kind of stuff like that, but except for when it's convenient. I was like, well, it is 11/11. So there's some freaky things happening. I think that I'm just going to go back home. Mark was like, you think that you saw a javelina and an owl in the same place because it's 11/11? I was like, I don't know, but I'm going to tell myself that and just say, like, this is out of an abundance of caution, I'm going to go home. And that's what we did. And then last night, and then yesterday morning, we did take our morning walk, and I talked to Jackie. I FaceTimed with her. She's in Belize, and so it was. I'm very happy for her. She said it's the happiest she's been in a long time, and that makes me very happy for her. So, it was really fun to see. And then she texted me throughout the day, like some of our favorite places that we went to, she was going to, and so I was excited. And her birthday's tomorrow, so I'm excited for her. And I feel like I can say that, and it doesn't sound so completely abstract since she did an episode with me. And of several people have written and said that they enjoyed it. They liked her. They liked, us together. And so that makes me happy because I had a lot of fun doing it with her. And she had a lot of fun doing it. So I think it would be nice for both of us to do again. So that's the plan. When she gets back, maybe next week or the week after, we'll do another one together. And oh boy, what else? Oh, I do know that there was a question about like my thoughts on the Menendez brother drama. And I actually need to look into that more. Now Mark and I watched like in one day, we binged that entire new Menendez brother thing. It is by the same people who did the Jeffrey Dahmer one, on Netflix, I think. It's called, like, the series is called Monster. And then I think each season they cover a different like monster of a human. And I really liked that series, that version of it. I've seen others. My phone is lighting up and my phone thinks I said Siri and I did not. No, phone. No. It's always listening. So I think some of the drama is that their case is being re-examined. I'm just going to look it up right now. Why didn't I do this beforehand? Menendez brothers now. News. Okay. Oh, are the Menendez brothers getting out? They're sentenced to life in blah, 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 blah. Oh, this was just posted 3 hours ago. Watch the Dateline episode, The Menendez Brothers, Chance at Freedom. Keith Morrison reports the latest twists in the case of Lyle and Eric Menendez, convicted of the 1989 murders of their parents. I thought that, what's her name, who played the mom in that most recent series, Chloe, I don't know how to say her last name. I really wish I did. Sevigny? I don't know. I thought she was great. And so was Bardem. So let's see. Okay. Oh, the case and details that could be considered in a possible resentencing. Well, why though? I guess I shouldn't research this like on the air. That's kind of boring for everyone. But, Los Angeles County District Attorney George Gascon has filed a petition to re-sentence the brothers, opening the possibility of parole. He unveiled his long-awaited decision, saying that they have paid their debt to society. Under California law, they would be eligible for youth parole since they were under the age of 26 at the time of the crime and have already served 30 years in prison. Oh my God, 30 years. It blows my mind away. Time is really, it's really fucking with my head lately. Just, I know I talked about this on a recent something, Patreon regular, I can't remember, but just that like time is slipping away so fast and I don't want it to. I think in the past I always would plan, I will get back to the Menendez thing in a second. In the past I always needed something to look forward to, like a vacation, an event, something. I would always want to have something, a party, anything. It could be big or small, but just something in the, not too distant future that I could focus on and be excited about and like get through. I could get through the days because I was excited about this. And now I don't feel that way at all. I don't have anything. There's nothing. There's no like events or vacations or anything. It's just life. And what's funny to me is that I'm struggling in life. I think the argument can be made that most people are struggling in one way or another in their life. And I feel like I fit that bill. Like I am struggling in many different ways, but also the difference is that now how do I want to say this? The difference is that now I don't know how to say it actually. Because I don't enjoy the struggle. That's the first thing that came to my mind, but that's not it. It's like I want I want more time. I want more opportunity, which is time. I want more time to do more, to do better, to make it to a place where I'm not struggling in the same ways. Again, I think that life is a struggle in different ways for different people. Wow. Could I make a more general statement? My, I feel like I can hear my mouth, and that's so annoying to me on podcasts when I can like hear the saliva in somebody's mouth when they're talking. Ugh, grosses me out. So I'm going to sit back from the mic a little bit. Yeah, I thought this the other day, and I feel stupid saying it, but I'm going to say it anyways. I thought there are certain things in my life now that I do love so much that I get sad thinking about losing them. And then there's this quote that I will probably mangle from Winnie the Pooh. That's like something that the essence of it is how lucky you are to have things or something or someone that you love so much that it would be devastating if you lost them. That's not it, but that's kind of the sentiment. Let's see. Okay. I found it. It says, how lucky I am to have something which makes saying goodbye so hard. Ugh, it makes me cry. And it, it's a sentiment of, I guess I don't probably need to explain it, but that like you're fortunate to have something so special that you don't want to let go of it or lose it. And I don't know that I've certainly had things in my life in the past that was probably true of, but I don't think that I was so consciously aware of them. Anyways, well, maybe I was, because I feel like my job, it still makes me tear up, which is insane to me when I think about that all fell apart. 'Cause I loved it so much. And I guess the benefit is that or the silver lining is that I did appreciate it at the time. Like I knew how lucky I was, and I knew how wonderful it was to have something that I was doing every day with people that I loved doing. So it didn't go unnoticed, but I hate it. And yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. I do know where I was going, but I don't want to say it because it feels icky to say. Like, so when I was married, I'm going to try and explain this. When I was married, it was not a good marriage, and I would confide in my friends. I had a lot of friends that were teachers that I taught with, that I was very close with at the time. And I was, as we all know, I'm an oversharer and sometimes too honest. And I mean, that sounds like a good thing. I mean it as like a bad thing, honest to like a fault. I don't need to be so honest sometimes, I think. But I was very honest about that, like when things weren't good, which was often, and I would talk about it. And then it always made me feel embarrassed though, or like stupid when there was a period of time or a couple of days or something, a weekend that was really good. Because of course, we were married for 5 years. We were together for 9, I guess. It wasn't all bad. There were certainly good moments, good days, good, periods of time. And so when those good times happened, it felt like the boy who cried wolf a little bit sometimes, like talking about how bad things are. And then it's like, oh yeah, we had the best weekend. It was so fun. It felt like I couldn't, if I was going to talk about the bad times, I couldn't then talk about the good times. Or if I was going to talk about the good times, then I just had to keep the bad times to myself. It didn't feel like I could. It felt, and maybe somebody out there has experienced this and can explain it better. So if you can, please send me like a voicemail or a text or something and explain it better so I can share it on the podcast. And so what I was thinking the other day is that I've felt very grateful for Mark lately, especially with kind of Jenna being absent from my life for a while. I'm grateful for him and our friendship and relationship. And I think back to a year ago, it was a little less than a year ago when we were broken up, and I was so fucking heartbroken. And it was so hard for me at the time to see how I could ever get past that heartbreak, whether it be with him or it be on my own or whether it be with somebody else. I could never see like brighter days in the relationship sector of my life. And now so I think that helps me. I mean, I don't think you have to go through a breakup to be grateful for your partner, but it does help. I've never gone through something like that, admittedly. And so it does help me now to even, like, I was a little annoyed at him or something the other day. Silly, like nothing, no big deal. And now I kind of remind myself, like, you would have cut off your left arm to be annoyed with him a year ago when you guys were broken up. And so just grateful for him, and not only grateful for him, but grateful for the way that our relationship has changed, because it's not the same relationship it was. And I appreciate that. We've both had to work at changing the ways that we fight, the ways that we communicate. And we have, and he remains like committed to it, as do I. And that is, I think, something that I haven't experienced with a partner. Like in my marriage, we went to couples therapy and stuff, but I always felt like he was more interested in being right than being a team and like coming together as a team. And I really desperately wanted a partner, like in every sense of the word, somebody that was my friend and was on my side and was rooting me on, and saw the best in me, not the worst in me. Like, didn't assume that I was being a shitty person, that somebody, I wanted a partner that would always assume that I wasn't being shitty. That sounds weird, but I'm not going to explain it because this is already getting very long and preachier than I intended it to be. But so I wasn't going to say that I feel grateful for my relationship because I spent so much time last year crying into this microphone about being broken up with and being heartbroken. And then I think I don't remember because I haven't gone back and listened to them, but I think I eventually spent time talking about like rebuilding my life on my own, like trying to reimagine life without Mark. And I did for the short period of time. But so it gives me that same feeling to be like, I'm so grateful and happy in my relationship. It gives me that same feeling that I had with my ex, where I would talk about the problems, and then when things were good, it felt like, oh, I'm not allowed to talk about that. So that was a real over explanation. I feel like if I wasn't a woman, you could say that I just mansplain everything that I talk about. And I don't mean to, so I'm sorry. And wow, I just heard myself wheeze in the microphone. My asthma has been out of control bad lately. If anybody has any natural remedies, because I already use my rescue inhaler like 4 times a day, 5, sometimes more. And the steroid inhaler, like Symbicort or Advair and stuff, they're all just way, way, way too expensive. So if anybody has any kind of natural remedies or supplements that they find has helped with like kind of manage their asthma overall, I would love, love, love to know. And I've received some very kind comments from some of you guys on Monday's episode, or even through the Instagram DMs, like exchanges I've had with people. And I do realize I'm often self-deprecating, and I could see that could become like annoying. Like, just shut up. We're listening because we're listening. Like, I'm always like, I don't know why people are listening to me. And at a certain point, I feel like I should stop saying that, because if you're listening, I'm so grateful that you're listening. And I hope that I make you like laugh or feel comforted or feel less alone, or you can relate to me, or maybe you listen because I'm super annoying and it gets you all riled up about how much I irritate you. I don't know, but I'm grateful for all of those reasons. And I think that's always been my go-to, is to be very, very, very self-deprecating. And that's fine, but I would like to stop so often on these rambling episodes being like, why is anybody listening to this? Because, you know, that's rude. That's kind of rude of me to say. So, okay. Well, this I guess I could have spent this 35 minutes putting the finishing touches on the crime episode rather than just doing this. I'm intended to come on and spend 10 minutes and be like, guys, yesterday this is what happened, and I wasn't feeling great this morning, but I'm on it. I'm getting on it, and I'll be back. And instead, I just, I guess you put a mic in front of me, and my brain just decides to open up and dump all over. Yeah. So the Menendez stuff I said I'd come back to, I'm actually going to read more about it, and then I'll talk about that. I'm going to put a star next to this. I have my little list of things that I needed to post. I posted, I think, most of them. I posted my therapist. Again, I stand by the fact that even if I don't know, I just can't recommend her enough. And I actually have therapy with her tomorrow. And then Saturday, I'm a little bit nervous. Not nervous. I'm going to not put 18 different qualifications on this. Saturday, Mark. Sorry, guys. Saturday, Mark has a ribbon cutting at his job site that he's been working on for, 6 months, I think, at this point. And he invited me to come to it. Wow, my brain just went offline for a split second. And I've gone to work things with him before, but they've always been kind of company things where all the employees are going and they're bringing their spouses or kids or whatever. And this is more just like a him thing, where all the donors, I guess I can say what it's for. It's for a place called Camp Cooper here in Tucson, and it's the 60th. Oh my God, I almost just had a heart attack. The cat just jumped up on the desk. Oh, that scared me. The cat is also 50 pounds, by the way, so it shakes the whole desk. And now we can listen to her eating. Him. It's a him. I've only had the cat for 7 years, and I still call cat him and her both. So Camp Cooper, it's a camp. I don't honestly know. I think it's a camp for kids, a nature camp. I'm not sure, but Mark was in charge of building these self-compostable toilets, I believe is what they're called. And it's taken, 6 months, and it's done. And so they're going to have some big ribbon cutting and 60th anniversary celebration at Camp Cooper on Saturday afternoon. And I'm excited to go. He's had ribbon cuttings before at previous jobs and never has invited me. So it felt nice. It felt really nice. He was like, I want to introduce you to everybody I'm working with. And, because I've heard the names of people at the job site and stuff. So I'm looking forward to that. And what else? I got a text today. Jenna invited us to Thanksgiving that they're hosting. Sorry, that was a calendar invite I just got. Maybe I'll talk more about that on another one. Very nice to be invited. Feels, I don't know. They've hosted Thanksgiving for, I guess, every year since I've been here. We used to do Thanksgiving at Michael's parents' house. And it was at Michael's parents' house the first year I moved here. Like, I moved here in October 2021, and that November it was at his parents' house. And then the next year it was at Jenna and Michael's. And then last year it was at Jenna and Michael's, but we were in Belize. So, it's lovely. It's so nice. It's so fun. And also it feels, I don't know, it feels a little weird. We've only seen each other once in 5 months. And I had said to Mark, like, let's just skip Thanksgiving. Let's go to Jerome or Mount Lemon or go camping, or I don't know. Let's like lock the doors and stay inside and binge watch TV and just skip Thanksgiving. But and part of me wants to still do that. And there's a big part of me, here we go. I was going to save this. Let's just talk about it. There's a big part of me that wants to just out of principle not go. So much has happened in the past 5 months that she wasn't here for. And I still don't totally understand why. Like my birthday, Mark's birthday, Halloween, I threw a Halloween party the first year I was here, or the second year I was here. I really wanted to do that again, but like most of our friends and family are connected to them. And so there's certainly a part of me that wants to not go out of principle. And then I have to stop myself and say, like, that's stupid. What principle? Like, what good does that do? Life is very, very short. We have very little family. I cannot like what has transpired or how she's acted, how things have gone. And that's okay. And I can also I can just let that go. Like, it doesn't mean that I accept it or that I'm okay with it or that I'm saying, like, this is an appropriate way to treat me. But I hate saying bigger person because I don't think that that's necessarily the case. It's a holiday. We're supposed to be grateful, and we really don't have much family. So, and my dad will be there for sure. And so that's the part of me that feels like, just go, just because she didn't show up for you for several months doesn't mean that you can't show up. And it's not for her. It's Michael's family, my family, and Mark. So I don't know. I'm sure we will end up going because of all the reasons I just said, I guess. I don't know. If anybody has any deep insight into this, I think I'm going to talk to Lindsay about this in therapy tomorrow. But if anybody has any thoughts, I'd be intrigued to hear them. Sometimes I wish I could like take a bigger stand and be like, no, this is not okay. I'm not okay with the way you treated me. And I'm not going to just sweep it under the rug and be okay with it. And I think that happens a lot. I think that happens more than I would like in my relationship with her. But again, then I flip to the other side. Well, what's the point of doing that? It's not going to help anything. It's just going to drive a wedge. It's just going to make you further apart. And you don't want that. You being me. I'm talking to myself. So I don't know. I've talked to Mark about it, and we'll see. But what do you guys, does anybody have any very exciting Thanksgiving plans? Thanksgiving was never really a holiday. We often went out of town on Thanksgiving because my mom did not like Thanksgiving food. She was really not into a holiday that was like all about stuffing yourself with, canned green beans. And I know they don't have to be canned, but this is how this was like her snooty point of view. She would be like, canned green beans and mashed potatoes and it was just, which is funny because my mom grew up, her parents didn't cook. My grandparents didn't cook. They both worked. Mom grew up like eating food out of a can and didn't learn to cook until she met my dad. I know I've talked about that before. But then my dad taught her how to cook, and she was an excellent, excellent cook. My dad is an excellent cook. And so I never understood why we just didn't do Thanksgiving. Like Jackie's family does Thanksgiving. They do like, I don't want to say elevated, but they do like Thanksgiving. Her dad makes like gourmet food. They don't do green bean casserole, and no judgment on green bean casserole. And I love macaroni and cheese, but like we could have done Thanksgiving when I was younger. We could have just done it differently, but we never did. I don't even think we ever hosted Thanksgiving at our house. I think maybe we occasionally went to other people's houses, but most of the time that was when we went on vacation, was the week of Thanksgiving. Like we had Thanksgiving in Jamaica one year and in London one year. God, that sounds so bratty. We did. I was very lucky. We traveled a little bit when I was younger. And so Thanksgiving was just never a big holiday for us. So when I was old enough and living in Flagstaff to like do Thanksgiving with like Friendsgiving or whatever, I loved it. And I wanted to host and made like way, way, way too much food. And now I feel medium about it. I don't know. And at Jenna and Michael's house, the Thanksgiving that they did, and even when we did it at Michael's parents' house, again, the food is amazing. Like Michael's an amazing cook. His parents are excellent cooks. His brother's a great cook. Mark's a great cook. So everybody is contributing, and everybody is so good at cooking that inevitably everything's delicious. So it's not even about the food for me. I don't know what it is. I have some type of aversion to Thanksgiving, I guess. Well, I can't stand football. But that's not even it because nobody watches football. Mark doesn't watch sports. Michael doesn't watch sports really. My dad has never watched a sport in his life. Yeah. But what are your, I like hearing about other people's Thanksgiving traditions and things. And like I said, I have some messages. I talked about our listener who lives in Belgium and did, worked with elephants, worked with jaguars. She's from South Africa, and now she lives in Belgium and works in wine. But the one thing I think I forgot to say, and I'm going to end it like this because then I'm going to play the messages, is that she was a puppy au pair. Just let that sink in because it's exactly what you think it is. And it sounds amazing. Oh, and it kind of fits because we just had the episode about the au pair. Different au pair, but okay, let's see if I can play these messages. I'm thinking I can just play them into the microphone. Let me see. Okay. So yeah, I can't. I'm just going to play them. I can't remember totally if they're all about. Let's just see.
Good afternoon. I don't know what time it is there by you, but it's 2:20 here. I'm taking a little break from work, so I thought that I would tell you a little bit about my life. It's everyone used to call me a bit of a gypsy, but I've always jumped around. But I studied at Stellenbosch University in South Africa, and I actually studied a BSc conservation ecology, and then did my honors in entomology on dragonflies, and then I got a position in Namibia. It was a volunteer coordinator position, and I was there for just over 5 months, and we worked with international volunteers. So they would come for 2 weeks at a time. And the first week we would be building elephant watering points. Yeah, so obviously in the desert there's not that much fresh flowing water, so elephants would break into communities and pull down their watering points or water tanks to get access. So the first week we would spend building walls, either making natural watering points for the elephants or building walls around community watering points. And then the second week we would spend on patrol, and we would go out into the desert and try and track the herds and see if there's any babies, or if any of the older ones have died, and just sort of updating ID books. But we lived in a campsite in the desert.
Hold on, guys. I'm putting do not disturb on in case somebody calls. It doesn't interrupt. Okay.
And so our international volunteers would come for 2 weeks at a time, and that is how I met my now husband. He was volunteering with his dad, and I was the volunteer coordinator on his trip. So we spent 2 weeks together in the desert. Not being able to shower, or no signal or mirrors, or we slept under the stars, so it was very rural. But after that, in the December of that year that we met, I went over to Belgium to meet him again and meet his family. And it went really well, and we've been together ever since. There's going to be quite a few voice notes, so skip ahead. But so after that, I started working for a game reserve, and I was a game ranger for a few months. It wasn't really my vibe, so then I changed positions, and I started working for a leopard conservation project, where we would set up motion-censored camera traps throughout 5 different reserves in Zululand. And then we would have to go out every day and download all the photos of those cameras, replace them if they had been bitten or stolen or rubbed off by an elephant or an animal. So I did that for a year. And then I was actually a puppy au pair in The Hague. So then I moved over and was able to travel Europe a little bit. And then, we decided that we needed to get serious about our relationship and really see what this was. So I obviously couldn't do conservation in Belgium, so I decided to study again for 3 years and get my qualification in winemaking, which I could use a little bit of my previous degree, and knowing that Belgium is a developing wine country. So I did that, finished cellar management and oenology and viticulture. And then I did an internship, worked a little bit, gained some experience, and then last year, August, I moved over to Belgium. That is my story, and you're very kind to say that I should have a podcast, but I will never meet your standards. But what you were saying about elephants is 100% true. We came across a carcass of an older female, and the herd had been there. You could see their footprints, and they sort of stayed in the area just remembering her and mourning her, and then moved off. So they are incredible. I've had a few close encounters, so I'm a little bit wary of them now, but they're fascinating animals, and especially the desert elephants, because they're literally in the desert, and they're walking on like beach sand, and they just trek for days and days without water. They're incredible.
Oh my gosh. First of all, doesn't she have a spectacular voice? I mean, her accent and just her voice is so lovely. And then to like be listening to that and then to have my voice, to hear my voice in my headphones right now, it's like, oh God. But yeah, I mean, what an incredibly interesting, fascinating life. It's wow. So I do think that I think that, look, obviously her life has been very, she's in places that I've never been to, working with wild animals and doing conservation work. And it's just so, different than anything I've experienced. And it's different than anything I've experienced. I also have heard from other, I almost said other ones of you guys, other listeners, who aren't, doing conservation work, and it was leopards, not jaguars. Why did I keep saying jaguars the other day? It's leopards, who are not doing conservation work with leopards and who are raising children in, I don't know, anywhere here in the country, in the United States, and hearing about that life, or hearing about the life of really anybody. I just find it's so interesting to hear about other people's lives. So if the general you that's listening, why did I say that so many times? If you ever have anything you want to share, or that you think would be interesting to share on here. And when I say interesting, I mean, it's all interesting, because everybody's life is different than my life. And that's fascinating. So, just send me either voice notes in Instagram, or you can leave a voicemail on the voicemail line and just say, like, hey, I would love to share this about my life with everyone. And then I'll play it. Maybe we can do that. I mean, if people actually send me stuff to play, I'd be happy to do that every week. Play a different message. And then everyone can kind of get to know everyone who's listening. I mean, realistically, I think there's 3,400 people listening each month. So that's not that many people. We could all know each other a little bit better. I don't know, maybe that's a silly idea. Anyways, so, and she sent me other messages, and I knew that those ones were all about her life and okay to play. So I didn't want to continue playing the rest of them, without making sure that that she was okay with it being shared. Anyways, but thank you for letting me share that. And, I'm sure people will have lots of questions. So if you do have questions, let me know and I can pass them on to her. I didn't ask her if I could share her Instagram name. She did send me some pictures though. So I'm going to ask if I can share those, and I will share those on the Facebook, because really this picture of this elephant, I can't. I don't know what's wrong with me. Why do elephants make me cry so much? Yeah. Anyways, that's it. I'm going to say goodbye now. After 57 minutes of, I don't even know what to put in the description here. I was just going to tell you I had a really bad cough, and I took cough medicine and it made me feel like shit. And now I feel pretty good. So I'm going to try and do the podcast, but 58 minutes later, here we are, guys. So I don't know, maybe it's not a true crime week this week. And for all of the people who are listening solely for the true crime, I do apologize. Tomorrow I have therapy. I could actually probably do it tomorrow. So we'll see. Okay. I guess that's it. I always get to the end of this and want to keep going, but I have nothing else to say. Oh, I love that. Who said it? I think Laura said it. Maybe, I think Laura said it. Yeah, that she's going to start a lookup list just from Monday's bonus episode, which I liked. And she said, and I was like, well, what does he mean? But I think she clarified like the comforter at Costco, which, oh my God, guys. Last night was a really bad, I hate not sleeping. I mean, nobody likes not sleeping. You know, when it's 2:00 in the morning, I've been in bed since, I think I got in bed at 7:30 last night, 7:00. And I couldn't sleep because I was just constantly coughing. The only thing that brought me comfort was that comforter. It's heaven. It's so soft and amazing. And then she said also that show that I was talking about that me and Mark started watching From, which I should say, it is there are some gory parts. I already think I prefaced it with that it's supernaturally. Basically, I didn't even say what it was. It's a town that once you arrive there, you don't mean to arrive there. So I'm not far enough to know like why people end up there, but when you're driving, you end up in this town. You didn't mean to go there, and then you can't leave. It's impossible for you to leave. That's kind of the very, very broad overview of it. And there's some really unpleasant things happening in the town. And that's where some of the supernatural-y stuff comes in. But yeah, like I said, I think we got to episode 4 or 5 on Sunday, and I'm waiting to watch it again with him this weekend. So, now I'm going through my head thinking, oh my God. And today or tomorrow, a show that both Jenna and I loved on Apple Plus called Bad Sisters. The season 2 starts today. So if anybody ended up watching it, because I know we talked about that show. So if you ended up watching that last year when we were talking about it, season 2 comes out today. I'm very excited. I think that means I can't watch it till tomorrow, but okay. I'm going to go lay down. I have to, I'm planning, here's another question. If anybody has any ideas, I'm recording a Thanksgiving episode with Jim and the rest of our team, like the editor, technical producer, Mike, with Joe Sib, another comedian. And I need to come up with like segments. So I have a few, but that are kind of, based around gratitude or Thanksgiving food, either fun games or little segment stuff. I have a few that I've come up with the help of ChatGPT. So if anybody has any brilliant ideas, I would love to know. Excuse me. And on that note, I shall say goodbye. And I really love you all. I really appreciate all the communication. And I really appreciate just you listening, even if you're not communicating with me and you're just listening. I appreciate that as well. But, yeah, that's right, Kat. Oh, yeah? What? He's rubbing his head on the microphone. He's never done that. All right, guys, I'm out of here. I'm going to go take a little lay down and take some more cough medicine, and hope to wake up nice and fresh tomorrow and get the true crime episode. I'm starting Thanksgiving true crime now. So that's what the next one is. Thanksgiving-ish. I hope everyone is having a delightful week, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.